Smash that like and subscribe button as well as hit that notification icon so you get all the latest content updates from the channel. What's going on, YouTube? This is another edition of 717 Sports Chat Live. I'm your host, Marcus J. Witherspoon, and today's topic we're going to be covering NBA, talking about the Los Angeles Lakers, a team that I had at the beginning of the season. Everybody, even though a lot of people I talked to about, the Lakers, etc., said this team's too old, not going to put it together, it's not going to work with Russell Westbrook, etc., etc. I'm one of those guys who failed to believe that that was the case. I thought, okay, if anybody can make it work, it would be LeBron James. We see in this story time and time again, guys, that he, wants to link up with, even if some were view them as selfish players, etc., he'll make it work with these players and win a title. However, so far through almost the first half of this season, it has not gone particularly well for these Los Angeles Lakers. They look every bit of old, tired, slow, lethargic as a lot of other people outside of myself and a few others predicted. They play terrible defense. There's no chemistry. Russ turns the ball over too much, the whole 9 yards. If you've been watching the Lakers play this season, you know what I'm talking about. Now, with that being said, I was thinking about the Lakers and, their situation. And I just started getting some scenarios in my head that I wanted to share with you guys. Will the Lakers trade Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis? And why I put both in the conversation is because, as we know, the Lakers don't have really no draft capital, nothing really to go get some value at the trade deadline, etc. So, and I'm not saying they're going to trade Anthony Davis right now, but I'm talking about down the road. But as for Russell Westbrook, I would not be surprised if the Lakers would try to make a move for Russell Westbrook if they can. I don't think it's working out. It doesn't look like a good fit. Russ isn't willing to change this type of basketball player that he is, which is he's a guy who wants to go out there and fill up the stat sheet. He wants to average a triple-double every night. Doesn't matter if he's getting 7 or 8 turnovers and the team loses. I'm not sitting there saying he purposely wants to be that way. He can't change the type of player he is. He is who he is. Especially, at 32, 33 years old, it's like asking a dog to learn new tricks. It's just, sometimes it's not that easy, or it's just almost impossible. So with that being said, I do think that there's room for the Lakers to move off of Russell Westbrook here coming up at the trade deadline. It's just a matter of who, what, and what price. I mean, I look at it and it's like there's really not much you can really go out. What team you have to look at it is like, what team is going to really want Russell Westbrook? Given all the issues and stuff with turning the ball over and just being defiant to, adjusting to a different brand of team basketball than he's used to playing. So I was struggling with this, and there was only one team. There was only one team that I could think about, and and the same goes for Anthony Davis. And the reason why I put Anthony Davis in this conversation with Russell Westbrook is, come on, guys, the guy keeps getting injured. They invested so much. They invested their entire future. They mortgaged their entire future for Anthony Davis. And yes, did they get a championship? Albeit, the shortened season and then the bubble out of it, yes. But when you look at all the seasons he's been with LA, he's been hurt, he's missed time, etc. We know the story. He's out now with another injury. So they mortgaged their entire future. And when you look at the development of guys like Brandon Ingram, the guys like Alonzo Ball, you kind of tend to question, did the Lakers make a mistake by mortgaging their entire future for Anthony Davis, a guy who barely has seen the court, while you see guys like Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball lighting it up for the respective teams Granted, obviously Brandon Ingram's stuck in New Orleans. It's going to be interesting to see if he can get out of that situation at the trade deadline. But the Lakers literally mortgaged their entire future for Anthony Davis, as well as Russell Westbrook. They mortgaged their entire future salary cap to get any type of real value, anything, on these two guys. And it is going to be very, very difficult for them to get out of this situation. Because if you're a team looking at Russell Westbrook, you're looking at, okay, how does he fit with us? And if he does fit, is he willing to fit? Is he willing to adjust? And I'm sorry, if he couldn't adjust, LeBron James of all people, and if Kevin Durant even said you can't win with him, then unless you're a team looking to sell tickets, maybe a low market team that's trying to build their brand and they want to sell tickets, and the Lakers, but I can't see the Lakers trading Russell Westbrook for basically draft picks at this point. They got to get something back. They have to get something back. And it's easier with Anthony Davis. I think Anthony Davis has a little bit more draft capital still on him, a little bit more meat on his bone than Russell Westbrook does. And I also say that is because Anthony Davis is still coming into his prime. If he can get the injury situation under control, that could be obviously a big upside, big boost for him and the Lakers if they do decide to move off him, being that he is too injury riddled now. And it also would depend if LeBron decides he wants to leave next year, because what if he wants to blow this whole thing up because he's getting tired of the injuries with AD, and obviously the situation with Russ didn't work. So it's just a really fascinating situation. And after some deliberation in my mind, I only could come up with two teams, one for each respective player, that I could see a possible trade being made. One destination for each, Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis. With that being said, I'm going to say the first destination, or the first player, Russell Westbrook. The only team I can see investing in Russell Westbrook really is the Philadelphia 76ers. And the reason why I say this is because they want to get rid of Ben Simmons. We all know that. Well, who has been open about wanting to play with Ben Simmons? LeBron James. Now, one can sit there and say, oh, well, how does that fit, Marcus? That's just like going to get another Russ. You know what I mean? Because Russ can't shoot the ball, but he can average a triple-double, etc. This is where I defer. I have said it countless times. If you go back and watch some of my videos, if you go back and watch a video I did on Ben Simmons over the summer, I've said it. Ben Simmons, wherever he goes next, will show you he can shoot the ball. He will be shooting and making threes. He will be shooting and making mid-range shots. He just doesn't want to do it in Philadelphia. That's just all it is. I'm sorry, when you see a guy doing it in practice, making it in practice, making it on a shoot around, but then in the game doesn't even attempt to shoot the ball really, that tells you right there everything you need to know. Ben Simmons doesn't want to play for the Philadelphia 76ers. So, and we also know Ben Simmons wants to play for a California team. Well, what is the biggest snack that as Sixers fans, as I am myself, give Ben Simmons? He's not aggressive enough. He has so much talent, but he doesn't have enough. He doesn't use his aggression. What is Russell Westbrook known for? His aggression. So, and then I looked up the turnover margin for career-wise between both. You're getting around the same. You're getting around the same turnover. They average around the same three turnovers a game. Russ just averages a tick up like 3.5, closer to 4. What happens, obviously when you got guys handling the ball at high usage. But that's the only team that makes sense for me. That is the only team, and the Lakers might be able to get some draft capital back out of the Sixers, because the Sixers are just trying to get rid of Ben Simmons for anything at this point. And to get Russell Westbrook, a guy who kind of does fit the Philly mold in terms of attitude, you know what I mean? He would be a spark plug to the city, I think. I'm not saying it's going to be a fit in terms of winning games, but that's the only place I can come up with. It's the only place that makes sense, especially in terms of You know, the situation in terms of LeBron wanting to play with Ben Simmons, Philly fans wanting a guy, even though Russ obviously isn't the defender that Ben Simmons is, we want a guy who's going to score 20-25 to help Embiid complement his 25-30. Ben Simmons isn't doing that. LeBron and those guys want a guy who can play defense and maybe give them a little bit more shooting and a little bit more discipline in terms of taking care of the ball and being unselfish. So that's my take on Westbrook's situation. The Sixers are the only team that I can think of that maybe might take a gander on Russell Westbrook at this point. Now we're going to move on to Anthony Davis. It's been talked about in the past, even before he went to the Lakers. The Golden State Warriors, I mean, it's the only team to me that makes sense. If the Lakers want to move off of AD, and it's all, to me, it depends on LeBron. If he's just done, he wants to get out of LA, maybe see if he can win a championship somewhere else, because there's been speculation about, rumblings about that as well, or theories about that. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, the Lakers do want to move off Anthony Davis. Well, the Warriors make sense, and this is why the Warriors make a ton of sense. The Warriors have been linked, as of last year, to wanting to trade, have been open to trading last year's first-round pick center, James Wiseman. We all know James Wiseman is a really good young talent, has a lot of upside. So not only would the Lakers be getting a big man in return to obviously take over the spot at center that Davis has given up, athletically, I'm going to say he's not at the level of AD, but he's a guy who can stretch the court. He can shoot the three. He can shoot the mid-range. He can, go in the post. He can do it. He can pass. He just needs time to mature. Then on top of that, I'm pretty sure the Lakers can definitely get some draft picks out of Golden State for that. If the Warriors will be willing to still pull that trigger. If the Warriors, let's say the Warriors don't win a title this year and feels like they need that one piece to put the icing on the cake, I can see the Warriors pulling that trigger. Because they have the value and they have the draft capital. And they have the value. James Wiseman is a hell of an upside value. There's no doubt about that. And if he could stay healthy, it makes sense for both parties. I honestly think that the Lakers are going to move off Anthony Davis in the near future. I do not. I think this is his last year in LA. People can sit there and call me crazy. I just, with all these injuries, and the fact they mortgaged their future, it doesn't look good. But that's all I have for this segment, guys. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Any Laker fans that come across this video, give me your comments. Give me your opinions on the matter at hand. Would you like to see the Lakers trade Russell Westbrook? And what would you like in return for him? As well as, do you think the Lakers could be in play to trade Anthony Davis down the line? And if so, do you think my theory about the Golden State Warriors trading James Wiseman for Anthony Davis along with draft picks makes sense? Once again, this is 717 Sports Chat Live. I'm Marcus J. Witherspoon. Enjoy your New Year's, everybody. Stay blessed. Stay safe.